It's almost 2 o'clock na. Can we start?
Yes, Mr. Chair. We already have a quorum, Mr. Chair. We can now start formally the meeting, sir.
Before we start, can we have the roll call first so that we can recognize who are present physically here and those who are online?
Okay po, sir. Please acknowledge when your name is called. Lieutenant Colonel Valentino A. Jonella,
Present?
Attorney Danjon G. Lucas,
Present.
Captain Dante D. Langkit, Engineer Elmer E. Gomez,
Present online.
Miss Jocelyn L. Ching, present, and end user, Sir Colonel Maglaki.
Present, Mr. Chair.
For our
Dante here.
DWG, we have Attorney Frank Edward G. Marty,
Present.
members, Attorney Frank Nestor T. Mendoza, Engineer Jofferand Torrefranca, Engineer Michael D. Macabenta, Ms. Odessa M. Cortez, Mr. Kevin A. Badua, Ms.
Present po.
Lisa C. Santa Barbara,
Present po.
and Ms. Vanessa Caime. For our Secretariat, Dr. Rolly T. Bayaban, our overall head, Attorney Iris Presion, Attorney Bo Siglat, and the rest of the secretariats are also online po.
Mr. Chair, all the members of the Bids and Awards Committee for Security Services are present, Mr. Chair, both physically and online, sir. We can now proceed, sir, with the agenda item, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Can we have the agenda first?
Sir, flashed in your screens right now are the agenda items for today. Number 2 is for the opening of bids for the following projects. Provision of security services requirements for CAAP main office and nearby facilities under 3-year contract service agreement. Number 2.2 is provision of security services requirement for CAAP Area 10 under 3-year service agreement, and 2.3 provision of security services requirements for CAAP Area 12. We also have number 3, Mr. Chair, is a presentation of the post-qualification report of the provision of security services for the Bicol International Airport covering a 6 months period, Mr. Chair. That would be our agenda for today, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Arthur Frank. I'll just wait for it's very far from me. Hindi ko mabasa yung nakasulat dyan sa kwan. I'd like to transfer this.
Sir, before we proceed with the opening of bids, Mr. Chair, the TWG, Mr. Chair, would like to manifest that the BAC Secretariat received a letter from Eagle One Security Services Incorporated. It is addressed to the chairperson of the Bids and Awards Committee. And Mr. Chair, if the BAC would allow, I would like to read the request of Eagle One Security.
Okay, go ahead, Attorney Frank.
So the letter is dated December 19, and the contents of the letter are as follows. This is the request to dispense, defer, and or postpone the submission of the following technical requirements relative to the scheduled bidding for the provision of security services in CAAP Area 10 and 12 on December 20. This is the following documents: security survey report, security plan, certificate of site inspection. As an aftermath of the Super Typhoon Odette that devastated many areas in CAAP Centers 10 and 12, our security team failed to continue and complete their site inspection and survey in Surigao, Siargao, and other airports in the said CAAP areas due to absence of transportation, communication, and other causes. Considering the impossibility of preparing and securing the above-mentioned requirements, we respectfully request that their submission as part of the technical requirements be dispensed with and/or deferred the bid submission and opening. We look forward for your consideration on these requests based on force majeure. And the letter is signed by Mr. Reynato Primo, the President of Eagle One Security Services. Mr. Chair, for the technical working group, we prepared a letter response to this, Mr. Chair, and considering that the grounds for postponements are valid, Mr. Chair, we are recommending as well to postpone the deadline for the submission and opening of bids for this project.
Okay, thank you. Since the request is justifiable because of the situations right now, most especially in area 10 and 12, where in fact Surigao and Siargao are really affected. It has the letter. I already signed the letter, right?
Yes, Mr. Chair. So,
Can you show that letter that has been approved?
Our response to this, Mr. Chair, would be in a form of bid bulletin. We will be issuing bid bulletin number 2. This will be extending the deadline for the submission of the bid proposal and the conduct of bid opening on January 4, considering, Mr. Chair, that we will be required to conduct the opening of bids 7 days after, after the issuance of the bid bulletin, and it is only considering that it's already holidays next week, Mr. Chair, so we are proposing on January 4 at 2 p.m. This is for area centers, area 10 and for area 12, Mr. Chair.
Okay, since it has been recommended by the technical working group for the postponement, and then the dates has been moved to January 4. Any comments from the members regarding this request that has been approved by?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
No comment from the end user. Do you set this into motion? Okay. May I move for the postponement of the submission opening of bids for areas for project procurement for CAAP area centers 10 and 12, and further extending the deadline of submission and submission and opening of bids to January 4, 2022.
Any second?
Seconded, Mr. Chair. Seconded, Mr. Chair.
Since okay, since it has been moved by the end user and duly seconded, dito sa since it has been moved and duly seconded for the postponement of area 10 and 12 that has been extended and scheduled on January 4, 2022. Then we can, what we're going to tackle this one is the
Only for NCR, Mr. Chair.
only for the NCR.
Yes, only for
Main
item
office.
2.1, sir.
Can we proceed now for the 2.1 provisions of security services requirements for CAAP, main office and nearby facilities the 3-year service agreement for the NCR only.
Okay, sir. Go ahead. Mr. Chair, we received 2 bid proposals for this particular project. We have one from we have one from the Advanced Remote Management Managed Security Services, ARMMSS Incorporated, and Eagle Matrix Security Agency. We have representatives, Mr. Chair, online for ARMS and Eagle Matrix. Ma'am, sir, for records purposes, may we request you to state your name and the company you represent, sir, ma'am? We start with ARMS.
Any representative from the ARMS online? Please recognize yourself.
Ma'am? Okay. They're actually here physically, Mr. Chair. May we request them to be allowed?
Yes, please call them to come inside and to be recognized.
For the meantime, Mr. Chair, we have representatives from Eagle Matrix. Representative, please kindly state your name and the company you represent for records purposes.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mireros Morales, Admin Manager of Eagle Matrix Security Agency.
Good afternoon, Your Honors. I'm Attorney Bernard Philip Claustro from Eagle Matrix. I'm the President.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. Welcome po.
Thank you po.
Good afternoon, ma'am. For records purposes, ma'am, can you state your name and the company you represent, please?
Jules Quintana from Advanced Remote Managed Security Services. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
So in other words, we have 2 representatives from ARMS online and one is physically present. Is that correct?
Mr. Chair, 2 representatives from Eagle Matrix online and one physically present from ARMS, sir. Representatives from Eagle Matrix, sir, our BAC members would like to ask, sir, would like to confirm whether you sent a representative here in our office or you just intend to be present online, sir.
May Nakamute.
Sir, Mr. DRC can join, sir, the He's there he's there naman po. I'll
Yes.
check lang po.
Okay po, ma'am. Thank you.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, please.
Yes, we just want to raise a question or a clarification on matter of point of order on 2 items. One is may we know if the private sector as observers were invited and present in the bidding today?
If I may respond to that, Mr. Chair. Sir, we have sent letter invitations to observers. We also send invitations to the COA representative and our COA office here at CAAP and from the Internal Audit Service. I think, sir, they are present online, sir.
With respect to the private sector, Mr. Chair, is the PADPAW given a notification to attend the hearing today or to the bid opening?
May we request the secretary? We will check, sir, from our records, but we have sent letter invitations to private organizations to observe these proceedings today, sir.
May we know, Mr. Chair, who are these private sectors that were invited?
Do we have the list for the private sectors that will be online on this process?
Sir, we will just check the record, sir. Mr. Chair,
Yes, go ahead.
as per information from our BAC Secretariat, we sent a letter to the Philippine Chamber of Commerce Incorporated, and they did not, Mr. Chair, send representatives for today's meeting. We also sent our BAC Secretariat also sent a letter invitation to um, the Commission on Audit and the Internal Audit Service of CAAP, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, how about the PADPAW, Mr. Chair, being the industry that represent the security business? Were they given a notice to or invitation in today's bid exercise?
Only the Philippine Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Chair, Incorporated.
So is that in compliance of the Republic Act 9184 and its IRR, Mr. Chair, if the PADPAW was not represented in this procurement exercise?
Mr. Chair, for
Yeah,
the
go ahead, please.
For the information of the committee, Mr. Chair, we sent a letter to the Philippine Chamber of Commerce Incorporated as an observer, considering that in Section 13 of the 9184 in its IRR, it provides here that to enhance transparency of the process, the BAC shall, in all stages of the procurement process, invite, in addition to the representative from the COA, at least 2 observers to sit in the proceeding, 1 from the duly recognized private sector discipline, 2 the procurement admin, and the others from the non-governmental organizations, Mr. Chair. So with this, we are compliant, Mr. Chair, considering that the Philippine Chambers of Commerce is also a relevant uh, institution for this particular procurement activity, Mr. Chair. So with that, Mr. Chair, I think we can proceed with the opening of bids, considering that we are also compliant with the provision requiring the observers to be present during the bid opening.
So may we just request for the record, Mr. Chair, that PADPAO, which is the discipline involved in security, was not invited in this proceeding.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we can put that on the record, Mr. Chair. Thank you, sir.
Another, Mr. Chair, one last point of order. We sent a clarification in our letter dated 10 December 2021, where among others, we raised an issue on whether the procuring entity sought the approval of the GPPB as far as the modification of the terms of reference and other eligibility requirements. So we received a letter, Mr. Chairman, from the SBAC without mentioning whether it sought a clarification from GPPB. May we know what happened to that letter that we raised, Mr. Chairman, or we sent before the SBAC?
Mr. Chair, if I may respond to that.
Yes, please.
Mr. Chair, we already replied the letter of Eagle Matrix. We responded that the documents used for this particular project, the bid documents that we are using for this particular project are in accordance with our general in accordance with the provisions of 9184 and the Philippine Payment Documents 6th edition, particularly for goods and services as well. Mr. Chair, also identified in such letter our legal matrix that the modification are in accordance with or in accordance with the provisions of the Omnibus IRR.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I agree with that, but there was no mention whether they seek approval from the GPPB of the modification. That was not answered in the letter that was sent to us, Mr. Chair. That's why we are raising this as a point of order, Mr. Chair.
If I may request, if I may suggest, Mr. Chair, perhaps we can take note, Mr. Chair, of the manifestation of Eagle Matrix on this particular item, Mr. Chair, and proceed with the opening of the bid, sir.
So is it the understanding of the proponent bidder, Mr. Chair, that the procuring entity did not seek the approval of the GPPB in making the modification in the terms of reference?
Mr. Chair, to respond to that, Mr. Chair, as I said in our letter, we expressly provided there that our documents are in accordance. We conform with the provisions of 9184 as well as the 6th edition of the bid documents, sir.
So in other words, Mr. Chair, is in accordance the same as approval?
Hold on, please.
Mr. Chair, if I may. In order for us to move forward with these proceedings today, Mr. Chair, um, it is the TWG hereby recommends that we just take note of the manifestation of one of the of the committees and proceed with the opening of bids, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Chair. So we want that to, we request that that may be put on record, and we request for a minutes of the today's proceedings that there was no approval from the GPPB of the modifications made in the terms of reference.
Yes,
And
we'll take note the
we request for a
manifestation
copy
will
of
be
that,
put on
Mr. Chair.
records
Thank you,
into
Mr.
the
Chair.
minutes of this meeting.
Okay,
Thank you,
would
Mr.
you like
Chair.
to proceed with the opening of bids, sir?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, the first submitted bid is from is from the Advanced Remote Managed Security Services Incorporated. Representative, please. Ma'am, can you confirm if this is your submitted bid?
Yes, acknowledge that bid documents is my bid doc.
Thank you,
Was
ma'am.
submitted.
Inside the main document are three documents, the original bid, copy 1, and copy 2. The original component has two documents inside. The original technical component and the original financial component. The original technical component has tabbings, pagination, and signature on each page.
Mr. Chair, may we request that the entire document, especially the front page, be flashed? The entire page, Mr. Chair?
I'm sorry, sir.
The entire page of the first page be flashed so that we can see up to the bottom, Mr. Chair. It's moving. It's moving. The lower portion, Mr. Chair, may we see the document? The lowest part. The There is a print on the lower part. May we see that one, Mr. Chair? It's moving. May we ask from the chair what is that print on the lower right hand of the document?
Can you see the document now, sir? It's
We can see, sir, but
624.
okay. Thank you.
Initial.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Checklist, please.
For our technical component, notarized checklist of requirements for bidders,
Checklist of requirements for bidders. Signed. And with notarization. Submitted.
May we, Mr. Chair, may we look at the page where there is the signature of the bidder's representative? May we request that the entire document be flashed? The lower part, Mr. Chair,
We're already showing, sir, the lower part.
where is, may we see the page,
Sir,
pagination?
the representative of Eagle Matrix is already here, sir. We can also check the document.
Is
Yes,
there a,
if there is
there a, Mr. Chair, may we
present.
inquire, there is a initial in the same document? Is there an initial, Mr. Chair?
Sir, we are showing
Yes.
the document reader right now. The document, the signature page, the signature of the client, Quintana, Maribel, and it is page 6 of 624, and it is with initials.
Okay, Mr. Chair, there is a rule that if the page is a signature page, there should be no initial, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, we just take note of the manifestation of Eagle Matrix, Mr. Chair. And
Yes,
we can
because-
end the opening.
Yes, we move that that is also a non-compliance of the rules as provided in the ITB, Mr. Chair. We want to
Mr.
put that on
Chair,
record.
TWG recommends that we just take note of the manifestation of the Eagle Matrix
Yes,
and put it on record, and we proceed with the opening, sir.
just put that on record, all the manifestations of the Eagle Matrix.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr.
For
Chair.
the opening of the document.
The checklist of requirements for bidders submitted.
one passport size photo colored with accompanying 3 copies signature and 3 initial specimens of the authorized representative.
Copy of the ID of Miss Marie Jewel Quintana with 3 specimen signature. The ID
Mr.
is issued by it's a unified UMID ID. Yes, submitted.
Mr. Chair, another observation of comment manifestation that the document being presented and flashed appears not to be in compliance with the checklist of requirements. Specifically, checklist number 2 or letter B. There is a form for that, Mr. Chair.
Form, yes.
BF
form
number
1.
1. BF form number 1, Mr. Chair.
They also submitted, sir. We are just on the initial document, sir.
Okay. So is that a part of the tab B?
This is the submission, sir. Photo and specimen signature.
Is that also included in the BF form number 1?
BF form number 1. It is indicated, sir.
Okay. So there is an additional requirement or a document
No
attached
additional
by
submission, sir.
How about the one that was flashed with specimen signature? The one with ID, Mr. Chair.
The one with the ID, sir, is in the checklist of requirements for bidders.
May we know what particular requirement is that, Mr. Chair?
It is item number 1, checklist of requirements for bidders, Attorney Claustro.
Checklist number 1. What particular tab, Mr. Chair? The one that there appears an ID,
The first
unit
item
ID.
of the first item of the checklist, Mr. Chair. The checklist
Okay, notarized checklist of bidders only, Mr. Chair. I don't see any additional requirement in the said checklist.
We take note of your manifestation, sir.
Okay, we want that to be put on record, Mr. Chair, that again, there is a document which is not required by the rules, and it is placed as part of the bidding document.
Noted on that, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So,
Okay, continue.
Next is the notarized authority of the signing official, SPA of or secretary's certificate.
notarized authority of assigning officials. Secretary's certificate. Signed and notarized, submitted.
Notarized omnibus sworn statement with secretary's certificate or special power of attorney as applicable.
Omnibus sworn statement. Signed and notarized, submitted.
May we know the attachment of that document, if any, Mr. Chair? What are the attachment of that omnibus sworn statement?
Mr. Chair, considering, Mr. Chair, that the opening of bids will be based on the absence and presence of the document, and these documents will be subject to further evaluation during the post-qualification, I suggest, Mr. Chair, in order for us to move with the opening of bids smoothly, we will just check the presence and absence of the documents as per checklist, and the rest of the documents, the evaluation will be done after, Mr. Chair.
We will be putting on record, Mr. Chair, our observation, and we should not be deprived of such right, Your Honor. This is provided for in the law.
Yes,
And
sir, but
you have your terms of reference where it states there that there should be 4 additional documents to be attached to that kind of document, and we want to see, Mr. Chair.
yes, we do.
So maybe
note on that.
can you flash, Mr. Chair? Can we ask the committee to flash if there are attachments?
We take note of that, sir.
Yes. Why don't you flash, Mr. Chair? Why don't you flash
We are flashing.
the attachments? We want to see. This is a public
If we
bidding.
wanted to
Mr. Chair,
scrutinize the documents,
Mr. Chair,
the documents
may I
can
ask
be
the bidder to
scrutinized
please-
eventually during the bid evaluation and post-qualification.
Yeah, but
sir.
how will we know, Mr. Chair, if there are documents attached to that, if none?
Manifestation.
Manifestation from the NGO, sir.
Considering that the suggestion of the technical working group just to take note of the observation of other proponents, may suggest that we proceed, may move forward that we proceed with the opening of the bids, and considering that these documents may still be examined during the PQC.
So may we know, Mr. Chair, why is the committee afraid to show the document if it has attachments? This is a public bidding, Mr. Chair. May we know if there are attachments? Why don't you see? Why don't you show?
We are showing the document, sir.
Oh, may I see the attachment? May we see the attachment?
This is the attachment, sir. The
Okay.
attachment is the
May I-
secretary's certificate,
Okay.
the ID of the person who can,
How about
ID of the
the-
person who signed the document.
Okay, there are 4 requirements there that should be attached based on your ITR or ITB.
Ano bang, yung legal clearance, gano'n?
It should be accompanied.
Sir, we are still in the omnibus sworn statement.
Yes, there are attachments there, Mr. Chair. It's included in your terms of reference. Under ITBI,
Sa dating bid docs po kasi meron yan.
On technical documents, it says there, these shall include all of the following documents as attachment to the Omnibus sworn statement. Number 1, certification under oath, legal clearance, notarized affidavit of undertakings, and then lastly, bid bulletins.
Mr. Chair, we are still going to
Yes,
that
but
document,
it's
Mr. Chair.
this.
We are still on the omnibus foreign
Mr. Chair,
statement.
Correct.
Mr. Chair,
Hello.
Mr. Chair, can I be heard?
Yes,
Can
Vice Chair,
you hear me? Mr. Chair,
Vice Chairman,
am I
go ahead,
clear?
please.
May we just ask the bidder to please be respectful? I think Attorney Frank is still talking, and please refrain from cutting any member of the TWG when talking. I know the bidder, the president of Legal Matrix, is very passionate, but this is a recorded bidding, and this will be considered as affront to the members of Bids and Awards Committee. May we refrain that while the emotions are high, because we're trying to protect their business, and we're also trying to protect the agency. Can we just be respectful in the tenor of our language? I think Attorney Frank is trying very hard to be objective about this. Attorney Frank, just show them the documents if they want, if that is what they want. We're being very transparent. We're not showing anything. And I personally, Mr. Chair, I don't like that we are being, there are somehow any persons that are being cast of our accountability and transparency, Mr. Chair. I'm sorry, my signal is intermittent. I cannot make manifestations as often as I would want. But the very least, let's just be respectful. This is a public meeting. We know that, and we appreciate that we're being called out when there are some misgivings on our members or any TWG. But let's just be respectful. Yun lang po ang hinihiling namin. We're trying to be accurate. We're trying to be objective. Let's just be respectful in our language, in our tone, in our tenor. While this is not, while this is a public bidding, we also wish to be respected as we respect the other bidders. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much. Make that of record as well, that came from the Vice Chair.
So anyway, Mr. Chair, it's not the intention of this representation to be disrespectful. As a matter of fact, I'm saying the way it should be worded. At anyway, so we just want to inquire, Mr. Chairman, because this is part of the requirement, if there are the attachment in the Omnibus sworn statement as stated in the ITB, if they are present or not. Then if not, then we just want to put that on record, Mr. Chair. And we submit to the ruling of the SBAC.
Show them, Frank. Show them. Let's if possible, okay lang. Sige. Let's even if it will take time, if under the rules, it's just presence for absence. Let's show them, please, so that we can move forward. Thank you, Attorney Frank. I hope the chairman would allow that.
Thank you, sir. The permission to proceed, Mr. Chair.
Yes, please proceed.
The omnibus sworn statement submitted.
So may we know the attachment for the record, Mr. Chair?
Attorney Clausto, the attachment, the subsequent attachment, which will be number 1, the legal clearance will be
No,
read, we will be reading the document after the omnibus sworn statement. It is also included in the checklist, Mr. Chair. So
Yes, no.
just wait for the document to be read, Attorney Clausto, before raising the manifestation.
To continue, legal clearance to be issued by the CAAP Enforcement and Legal Service with respect to the non-tender cases of the prospective bidders against this authority.
Legal clearance issued last July 19, 2021, signed by Attorney Joseph Ray P. Gumabon, and it is valid until January 19, 2022, submitted.
PhilJEP Certificate of Registration and Membership, Platinum Membership, and attached documents.
Certificate of PhilJEP's registration, issued to Advanced Remote Managed Security Services Incorporated. The certificate is valid until January 2022.
May we know, Mr. Chair, what are the attachments?
Submitted.
Certified true copy of the
About the
PSA.
Mr. Chair, there are other attachments required like the mayor's permit, sex cert, BIR clearance. May we
Sir,
know
it's
if they are
already
present.
included in the Annex A.
It's a separate, Mr. Chair. About the mayor's clearance, Mr. Chair.
Sir, we cannot proceed if we have to one by one check because
Mr. Chair, this is provided
I
for in the rule.
understand your concern, Attorney Clausto, but we will also be reading the document as per checklist as well. So if the document is not being read in the checklist, then perhaps, sir, that you can raise your manifestation. But for the meantime, while we are also in the process of reading pa po yung other documents, kasi baka yung tinatanong niyo po, nasa subsequent pa po, it will be interrupting the proceedings and we will just be delayed by entertaining all your questions na meron naman po sa subsequent pa na mga checklist pa po na babasahin. Tulad ng Omnibus Sworn Statement, after naman po nun, yung hinahanap niyo pong legal clearance, binasa naman po after. So, perhaps, Attorney Klaus, Mr. Chair, if I may suggest, Mr. Chair, for the bidder to take note of the manifestation, to just write all his manifestations, and after the opening of these documents, Mr. Chair, we will be giving the floor to the bidders to raise their manifestation in order for us to put them on record. For orderly proceedings, sir.
I concur with the manifestation of PWG, Mr. Chair.
Yes, it has been concurred with the manifestations of the PWD as long as all the issues raised by the prospective bidders will be put on records.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Okay. For the field job certificate of registration submitted.
Certified true copy of the PSA valid and current regular license to operate as private security agency issued by the Philippine National Police Supervisory Office for Security Investigation Agency, PNP SOS. Yeah.
Certified true copy of PSA valid and current.
Certified true copy
Granted to Arms last December 1, 2021. Submitted. Next.
letter G. Certified true copy of clearance of non-derogatory record certificate. Non-derogatory record certificate of no pending case as PSA issued by PNP SOSIA, which shall be valid during the submission and opening of bids.
Certified true copy of clearance of no derogatory record issued to Advanced Remote Managed Security Services Incorporated, signed by Mr. Gagliardi of PNP SOSIA. Issued last December 14, 2021 and valid within 30 days after the issuance. Submitted.
Certified true copy of valid and current certificate of registration as contractor issued by the bidder by the Regional Office of Dole, where it is principally operates pursuant to Department Order 174 Series of 2017.
Certified true copy of valid and current certificate of registration as constructor issued by the Dole. We have here the certificate of registration issued to Advanced Remote Managed Security Services Incorporated, issued last. Certificate of registration valid until November 15, 2022. Submitted.
The statement of all ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started within the last 3 years prior to the deadline for the submission and receipt of bids.
Statement of all ongoing government contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started. Submitted.
Statement of the bidder's single largest completed contract, SLCC, similar to the contract to be bid.
Statement of the bidder's single largest completed contract, SLCC, for 2 years similar completed contracts. Submitted.
Financial documents for eligibility check, NFCC computation, or a committed line of credit from a universal or commercial bank.
Net financial contracting capacity in the amount of 169,048,331 pesos and 15 centavos. Submitted.
Bid securing declaration or any form of bid security.
Bid securing declaration in a form of bid securing declaration signed and notarized. Submitted.
Compliance or conformity with bidding documents as enumerated and specified in Section 6, Schedule of Requirements, and Section 7, Technical Specifications.
Compliance, conformity with the bidding documents as per Schedule of Requirements. Submitted.
Notarized certificate of satisfactory performance from at least 3 previous clients for the last 3 years.
Notarized certificate of satisfactory performance from at least 3 previous clients for the last 3 years. Certificate of contract from, this is 1, 2, and 3. 3 certificates from issued to ARMS, from Secmoto Supply, from Cavdel, and from MWM Terminals. Submitted.
Authority to conduct site inspection duly signed by ADG2, Chief CSIS, or his duly authorized representative.
Authority to conduct site inspection issued by Ms. Colonel Gil Maglake, ADG2 of CSIS, issued last July 7, 2021. Submitted.
Certificate of site inspection duly signed by the area airport manager or CSI area airport supervisor or any airport facility or officer in charge.
Certificate of site inspection issued to Advanced Remote Managed Security Services, represented by Mr. Aldrin E. Elye. This is for the CAAP main office. This is issued by Mr. Wendell Ferolino, ISG B, and issued last July 8, 2021. Submitted.
Company profile and organizational structure of private security agencies pursuant to RA number 5487, the Private Security Agency Law, indicating the names of its key agency officers.
So the security plan for main office consisting of several pages. This is signed by the bidder's representative within the authority. Submitted.
Security management expertise and experience of key agency officers and personnel, including possible chief of operations for CAAP.
Mel, can you read again, please?
Letter P? Okay. Q na. Okay. Ito, company. Company profile and organizational structure of private security agencies pursuant to RA number 5487, the Private Security Agency Law, indicating the names of its key agency officer.
So company profile of arms using Form 8 of bidding forms together with the structure submitted.
Next is the security management expertise and experience of key agency officers and personnel, including possible chief of operations for CAAP.
Security management expertise and experience signed by Miss Marijun Quintana. Submitted.
Latest monthly disposition report, MDR, stamp received by the PNP SOSIA for 3 consecutive months prior to the submission and opening of bids.
The MDR of arms for the month of November 2021, stamped received by PNP SOSIA plus December 15, and then that is for November. For the month of October, stamped received by PNP SOSIA last November 15, 2021. And
Mr. Chair, Frank, pwede nyo bang buuin yung flash?
Yes,
Kasi hindi ko
Attorney
rin makita
Dan.
eh. Sir, Mr. Chair, just want to request TWG to please and the Secretariat, if possible, buuin yung pag-flash. You cannot see actually, just part of the pages lang yung nakikita. I don't know if it's just my phone, but yan, mga parang ganyan. That's very important also for us to see, for those who are joining online. Thank you, Attorney Frank.
will comply, Cos. Check mo. Check dapat yung buong document. Romar. Mr. Chair, may we request MIS, please? Romar. The MDR for the month of October 2021, stamped received by PNP SOSIA November 15. And for the month of September 2021, stamped received by SOSIA, PNP SOSIA October 8, 2021, submitted.
Certificate of availability of required firearms and ammunitions to be supplied by the private security agency for firearms not yet available or under purchase agreement, attached notarized letter of commitment from supplier to supply the firearms if awarded a contract.
Certificate of availability of required firearms and ammunition using bidding forms number 9, signed by the bidder representative, and also certificate of commitment to supply firearms, submitted.
Certificate of availability of the required communication equipment to be supplied by the private security agency.
Certificate of availability of required communication requirement. The submission of arms using bidding forms number 10, signed by the representative. And they have a certification from Cygnus, submitted.
Certificate of availability of the required transportation or vehicle.
Certificate of availability of required transportation vehicle using Form 11, signed by the representative of the bidder, submitted.
Certificate of availability of the required other supplies, equipment, paraphernalia to be supplied by the private security agency.
Certificate of availability of required other equipment and paraphernalia using submission, used the bid form number 12 of the bidding form, signed by the representative,
Clearance certificate.
submitted.
Clearance certificate, where the principal place of business of the prospective bidder is located, and agency documents indicating the latest payments of the following: Social Security System, Home Development and Mutual Fund, Philippine Health and Insurance Commission, Bureau of Internal Revenue, BIR, and certification of pending or no pending labor standards violation or cases.
From SSS clearance certificate, certificate of compliance, submitted. For the Pag-ibig clearance certificate, also submitted. For the PhilHealth certification, issued last December 16, 2021, also submitted. For BIR clearance, valid until August 19, 2022, submitted. And
Next is the certification of pending or no pending labor standards violation cases issued by the following agency pertaining to the provisions of the security services: Department of Labor and Employment, NLRC, National Labor Relations Commission.
from Department of Labor and Employment certification, it issued to Advanced Remote Managed Security Services last December 7, submitted. For NLRC, certification of no pending case, issued last December 13, 2021, submitted.
DOLE certificates of compliance on occupational safety and health standards, and certificate of compliance on general labor standards.
We already have a bid bulletin on that.
Sorry,
Yeah.
okay. Notarized Affidavit of Undertaking.
Notarized Affidavit of Undertaking. The document is signed by the authorized representative as the affiant, and it is duly notarized, submitted.
Security Survey Report.
CAAP survey, security survey report. This is for the main office. It is signed, submitted, duly signed. Submitted.
photocopy of the official receipt as proof of purchase of the bidding documents issued by CAAP.
Photocopy of the receipt for the bid documents submitted.
Supplemental bid bulletin, if any.
Bid bulletin number 1 dated December 3, 2021. And bid bulletin number 2 dated December 13, 2021 submitted. That's all.
That's all po.
Mr. Chair, the submitted technical document of
Mr. Chair, Attorney Frank, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Attorney Dan?
Yes, Mr. Chair, Attorney Frank, maybe before the TWG makes its official recommendation, we said earlier that we're going to give time to the bidders to make manifestations. Can we do that before the TWG makes an official manifestation? If that's okay with the other members, and if it pleases the chair, please.
pardon, sir.
Attorney Dan, we cannot read your message.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
am I coming in clearly now?
Attorney Dan, can you repeat what you have said? Hindi natin nakuha lahat.
Mr. Chair, earlier I said that maybe before the TWG makes its official recommendation, we can already give time for the manifestation of the bidders, as we intended earlier. As Frank mentioned, that the bidders can make manifestations at the end of the presentation and the opening of the bid. Maybe the bidders who are interested to make manifestations can already do so.
Sir, if I may just reiterate, sir.
Yes,
Attorney-
can you reiterate, please?
Sir, the BAC Vice Chair, sir, just requested before we make the ruling whether the technical submission of the bidder arms initially rated as passed, we will be giving the opportunity to the other bidders to manifest, to raise their manifestation, sir.
Oh, yes.
Can we proceed now,
Oh,
Mr. Chair? Can I be given time already, an
yes,
opportunity?
please. Go ahead.
Okay. So I have several manifestations for the record and for the reference of the SBAC. Number one is going back to the Omnibus sworn statement. So we request at whatever stage that the Omnibus sworn statement should contain four documents as stated in the bid data sheet. And we noticed, Mr. Chair, that they were not part or form part of the Omnibus sworn statement as required to be attached. Number two, Mr. Chair, is the Pilgrim certificate of registration. Under the BDS, bid data sheet, there is also a requirement that it should be accompanied or there should be four documents that should be attached in the said certification, namely registration certificate from SEC, mayor's business permit, tax clearance, and audited financial statement for calendar year 2019 and 2020. Now, with respect to NFCC, net financial contracting capacity, there is also a requirement to be attached on the basis of the NFCC itself that should be attached or form part of the NFCC, namely the ITR, the AFS for the previous year, that means 2020, and the schedule of fixed assets. Then next item, Mr. Chair, that we want to put on record is the certificate of site inspection. So we request the committee to revisit and the technical working group if all sites has certificate of site inspection, as we were not able to see each and every certificate during the reading of the bid document. Then with respect to tab S4 or certificate of paraphernalia, there should also be an attachment as required by the checklist as well as the BDS, that it should be accompanied with a picture of the model guard and the pictures of the paraphernalia supplies and other items as is stated in the certificate. Then on the clearances, that is tabs 1 to 4, referring to SSS, Pag-ibig, PhilHealth, and BIR, we request the committee and TWG to revisit and check if they are accompanied with the respective latest document evidencing payment of said contribution as required in the checklist as well as in the BDS. We also request further that the committee or NTWG will look into the date of issuance and the period of validity of each and every clearance. Then on the requirement of security survey report, we have not noticed, so we request also the committee to check if each of the airport has a security survey report and it is properly tabbed as required in the BDS. That will be all, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chair, the technical working group would like to request for 2 minutes to check all the requirements as requested by Attorney Claustro of Eagle Matrix, sir.
Oh, yes, okay. We'll check everything that has been requested by Attorney Claus.
Mr. Chair, for the first item, we checked already the certificate of field jobs registration and all the required items, the certificate of registration from the SEC, a valid mayor's permit issued by LGU of Taguig, a tax clearance which is valid until September 4, 2023, and the audited financial statement stopped received by the BIR last April 27, 2021. So this item is already complied, Mr. Chair. And we go now to Okay. Mr. Chair, for the checklist of, under checklist for the opening of bids, which will be checked during the submission. Um, for the omnibus sworn statement, Mr. Chair, we indicated here letter D1, which is the notarized omnibus sworn statement with secretary's certificate and special power of attorney as applicable. The one mentioned, Mr. Chair, by Attorney Claustro, the other documents that should be attached in the omnibus sworn statement will be evaluated or will be checked during the post-qualification, Mr. Chair. The attachment to the notarized omnibus sworn statement. But for bidding, for the opening purposes, we will be reading out only the one in the checklist, and under item D1, this is the notarized sworn statement with secretary's certificate or special power of attorney as necessary. So with that, Mr. Chair, the omnibus sworn statement is present, but although the other attachments are also present, but for bidding, for opening purposes, we will only be looking at the notarized sworn statement.
Mr. Chair, follow-through
For
question.
the
Mr.
Yes,
Chair,
Attorney Klaus.
yeah. So given the statement and comment of the TWG, may we know what are the documents that are not attached as mentioned in the BDS that are not present in the document?
Sir,
Or simply
during the
stated,
opening
maybe,
of bids,
yes,
it will
maybe,
only be the presence or absence of the document as stated in the checklist. And the checklist merely states the notarized omnibus sworn statement. So the further evaluation of the completeness of the attachment will be done during the post-qualification evaluation. And rest assured, Mr. Attorney Claustro, that we will be looking into this. We will scrutinize all the pages during the evaluation, and this can be subsequently discussed during the post-qualification. It will also all be presented during the post-qualification evaluation presentation, Mr. Chair.
so just a clarification, Mr. Chair. Are these documents to be submitted in the post-qual?
No, no, sir. No, sir. No additional documents will be submitted for this. We only have a limited. I mean, we also have the list of documents that will be submitted. If they fail to attach during the bid submission, they cannot further submit during the post qualification. That's one thing for sure, sir.
And
Okay,
that will be undertaken during the post-qualification evaluations.
That's correct, sir.
So at least, thank you very much, Mr. Chair, that there are no other documents except the legal clearance attached.
Yes, noted on the manifestations that have been raised, Attorney Klaus, as the technical working group has said, the rest of the documents will be verified during the post-qualification evaluations. And there will be no other
Mr.
documents
Chair,
that will be submitted.
Mr. Chair, can I be recognized?
Yes, Attorney Dan, please.
Mr. Chair, meron bang present na member ngayon ng BAC na nandyan sa room? Attorney Frank,
Say that again,
member ng BAC
Vice
na
Chairman.
Attorney Dan, we cannot hear you well. Sir, also present in the
Attorney
room,
Frank?
sir, are Colonel Gil Maglake and Ma'am Joyce Ching, sir.
So, Joyce to countersign each and every page of the bid documents submitted by the bidders.
Sir, pardon, sir.
Sorry, Attorney Frank, I'm asking Ma'am Joyce to please countersign each and every page of the bid document submitted.
Yes, sir. All the back members present, sir, will countersign all the documents submitted by the bidder, sir, after the reading of the documents submitted, sir.
Okay, kasi siguro baka nahihiya lang silang diretsuhin tayo, baka ang sinasabi nila baka maipitan kasi kaya gusto nilang malaman and that's a very valid concern. So please each and every page countersign natin.
Sir, it is
Yes.
part of our procedure, sir, that all the submitted documents during the opening of bids, sir, will be countersigned by the members. That is included, or that is one of our measures in order to protect the integrity of the submitted documents.
Dahil
Noted on that all the members present here at the conference room, they will sign all the pages. As
Thank
always,
you,
what we
Mr.
are
Chair, and
doing.
sorry for my intermittent signal.
Shall we continue anymore?
Sir, last concern of Attorney Clausto, sir, for the security plan, the ARMS submitted security plan for Manila Control Tower. Um, this is for Manila Radar Station, and they are properly tabbed, sir. Manila Transmitter Station, CAAP Hangar, Rosario NBD, Tagaytay en route radar facility, and the Manila radar too. So, uh, Attorney Clauso, they are all submitted and with proper tabbings as well.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Attorney. I think Klaus, you're raising your hand.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I think Ms. Attorney Frank needs to comment or review, give a ruling or a verification on tab T1, the clearances onwards, and the NFCC, attachments of the NFCC.
Attorney Clausto, for SSS, Social Security Service, um, here, date of compliance, and this is issued, its last payment, as indicated here, is date of coverage, February 2015, last payment, October 2021, issued last December 15, 2021, for the Pag-ibig Fund, remittance for July to March 22, no, May 2021 to October 2021, and for PhilHealth, so indicated the monthly coverage and the amount remitted, and for the BIR clearance, it is up to valid until August 19, 2022.
Yes, Attorney Klaus.
Yes, Mr. Chair, there is a requirement that the clearances should be accompanied with latest proof of payment. So like the BIR clearance, may we know from the record if there is such, when was the last payment as required by the bid document itself?
Sir, if I may read, Mr. Chair, the requirement in the checklist, I will be flashing your screens. Clearance certificate valid as of the date of submission and opening of bids, where the principal place of business of the prospective bidder is located, and the agency documents indicating latest payment of the following. So it is the latest payment that is being indicated. So they indicate
So the
the.
last payment, Mr. Chair, will be May or October.
I'm sorry, sir.
So based on the certification, the latest payment is May or October. The BIR clearance, the last date of payment, when was that? When was that issued?
The latest payment of the agency is as of August 19, 2021. As indicated in the document. So that is the latest payment of the agency to the BIR for the tax clearance.
So we just want to put that on record, Mr. Chair, that the
Duly
latest is
noted,
August.
sir. Thank you, sir. So
How about the
Anything
NFCC?
else?
There's still another one.
Attorney Frank.
There's still another item, Mr. Chair, the NFCC.
NFCC.
Okay, go ahead, Attorney Klaus.
NFCC, Mr. Chair, I raised a request while ago on the NFCC to check the attachments.
As indicated, Mr. Chair, in the checklist of requirements for the opening of bids under letter J, financial document for eligibility check, NFCC, computation, or committed line of credit from a universal or commercial bank. So that is our requirement for purposes of opening the bids, and the submission is.
Yes. So may we go ahead, Mr. Chair.
So they submitted a financial documentation for eligibility check form number 5 NFCC, and with the following computation, and with NFCC amount of 169,048,331 pesos and 15 centavos.
So we just want to put on record, Mr. Chair, that in the form itself, NFCC, there is a requirement as attached, requiring the ITR, AFS, and schedule of fixed assets to form the basis of the computation of NFCC. So if that is not present, Mr.
Yes,
Chair,
Chair,
we
it
just
is
put on the
also
record.
indicated in the document, sir. Here is the annual income tax, the audited financial statement for the year 2020, 2019, and
Schedule of fixed assets. Maybe no, Mr. Chair, if the document has schedule of fixed assets.
Schedule of fixed assets. I think this is the document. This page has CC. Anyway, Mr. Chair, we take note of that, Mr. Chair, but again, as reflected in the checklist of eligibility or documents to be submitted or to be checked during the opening of bids, um, we will just the attachment to the omnibus sworn statement and to the NFC, I mean, sorry, to the NFCC, the net financial contracting capacity of the bidder, will be also evaluated. The completeness of the attachment to the NFCC will also be um, checked during and verified during the post-qualification, Mr. Chair. But for purposes of opening of bids, we just check whether there is a submitted NFCC using the form provided by the Philippine bidding documents for this project. But thank you, Attorney Cluster. We take note of your manifestation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Attorney Frank. Thank you.
So with that, Mr. Chair, having responded to all the manifestation of representative of Eagle Matrix, the technical working group hereby, I mean, recommend that the submission of arms for the technical document, considering they all submitted the required items in the checklist, to be initially rated as passed. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Attorney Frank.
Sir, permission to move to the opening of bids for the bid proposal of Eagle Matrix.
Okay, go ahead.
Representative from Eagle Matrix, please, can you confirm if this is your submitted bid?
We confirm, Mr. Chair, that
Thank
that
you,
is
sir.
the
Permission
document
to open.
submitted by Eagle Matrix.
Inside the main document are three envelopes. The original document, copy 1 and copy 2. Inside the original document are two sub-documents, the original technical component and the original financial component. The original technical component of Eagle Matrix Security Agency has tabbings, paginated, and signature on each page. Checklist, please.
For technical component, notarized checklist of requirements for bidders.
Notarized checklist of requirements for bidders.
One,
Oh, wait.
sorry.
Signed by the representative, Attorney Bernard Claustro, and it is duly notarized. Submitted.
One passport size photo colored with accompanying 3 signature and 3 initial specimens of the authorized representatives.
One passport size photo colored with accompanying 3 signatures and 3 initial specimen of authorized representative using Form 1 with signature and initials, picture. Submitted.
Notarized authority of the signing official, special power of attorney, or secretary's certificate.
Notarized authority of signing official, a secretary's certificate signed by Jose Ryan Soriano, Assistant Corporate Secretary, and it is duly notarized. Submitted.
Notarized omnibus sworn statement with secretary's certificate or special power of attorney
Notarized omnibus sworn
as
statement
necessary.
signed by Attorney Claustro, and it's also notarized together with the secretary's certificate. Submitted.
Legal clearance to be issued by the CAAP Enforcement and Legal Service with respect to the non-pending cases of the prospective bidders against this authority.
Legal clearance issued by Attorney Joseph Ray Gumabon, valid until January 8, 2022. Submitted.
PhilJEP's Certificate of Registration and Membership Platinum, and attached documents such as registration certificate from SEC, DTI for sole proprietorship, or CDA for cooperative, or any proof of such registration. Mayor's business permit issued by the city or municipality where the principal place of business of the prospective bidder is located. Tax clearance, and audited financial statement.
Certificate of PhilJEP's registration, platinum membership, issued to Eagle Matrix Security Agency, valid until April 2, 2022, together with Annex A of the Certificate of PhilJEP's registration, and also submitted registration certificate from SEC, Mayor's permit issued by LGU Quezon City, valid until December 31, 2021. Tax clearance issued to Eagle Matrix Security Agency, valid until July 26, 2022. And the audited financial statement for 2019. Submitted.
Certified true copy of the PSA valid and current regular license to operate as private security agency issued by the Philippine National Police Supervisory Office for Security Investigation Agency, PNP SOSIA.
Certificate of true certified true copy of license to operate issued by PNP SOSIA to Eagle Matrix Security Agency, valid until granted this February 17, 2020, and valid and with an expiry date of January 31, 2025. Submitted.
Certified true copy of clearance of no derogatory record, certificate of no pending case as PSA issued by PNP SOSIA, which shall be valid during the submission and opening of bids.
Certified true copy of clearance of no derogatory record issued by PNP SOSIA to Eagle Matrix, issued last December 3 and valid 30 days from the issuance. Submitted.
Certified true copy of valid and current certificate of registration as contractor issued to the bidder by the Regional Office of DOLE, where it principally operates pursuant to Department Order Number 174, Series of 2017.
Certificate of registration issued by the Department of Labor and Employment, National Capital Region to Eagle Matrix Security Agency, and this is valid until August 10, 2022. Certified true copy submitted.
The statement of all ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started within the last 3 years prior to the deadline for the submission and receipt of bids.
Statement of all ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, using Form 3 of the bidding forms, submitted, signed by the authorized representative, submitted.
Statement of the bidder's single largest completed contract, SLCC.
Statement of bidder's single largest completed contract, the submission used form number 4 of bidding form, signed by Attorney Claustro, President, authorized representative, submitted.
Financial documents for eligibility check, NFCC. NFCC computation or a committed line of credit from a universal or commercial bank.
NFCC computation using Form 5 of bidding forms in the amount of 1,401,651,499 pesos and 52 centavos, and it is signed by Attorney Claustro, submitted.
Bid securing declaration as prescribed in GPPB Resolution Number 03/2012 or any form of bid security prescribed in the BDS 18.1.
Bid security in the form of bid securing declaration signed by Attorney Claustro, and it's also notarized, submitted.
Compliance conformity with bidding documents as enumerated and specified in Section 6, Schedule of Requirements, and Section 7, Technical Specifications.
Conformity with the bidding, compliance or conformity with bidding documents as enumerated in Section 6, submitted.
Notarized certificate of satisfactory performance from at least 3 previous clients for the last 3 years.
Certification issued by PMFTC. It's also notarized. Issued certification from the CAAP and certification issued from Sagittarius Mines Incorporated.
Certification. Issue. Kahit po kaya siya issue.
Yes, ma'am, we take note of your manifestation po. But the further evaluation of these documents will be done during post-qualification. But thank you, we will take note of your manifestation.
Thank you.
Next. Authority to conduct site inspection duly signed by ADG2 Chief CSIS or his duly authorized representative.
Authority to conduct site inspection signed by Colonel Gil Maglake, issued last December 15, 2021, submitted.
Certificate of site inspection duly signed by CSI Chief yes, certificate of site inspection duly signed by CSIS Chief.
Certificate of site inspection issued to Eagle Matrix Security Agency, represented by Mr. Alberto de Arce Jr., issued last December 15, 2021, signed by Mr. Wendell Ferrolino, submitted.
Security plan duly signed by certified security practitioner.
Security plan for main office. Security plan for CATC. security plan for MCTC, security plan for MRS, Manila Radar, security plan for Manila Transmitter, security plan for CAAP Hangar, security plan for NDB in Rosario, security plan for CAAP facility in Tagaytay, and security plan for Manila Radar Station 2 submitted.
Company profile and organizational structure of private security agencies pursuant to RA number 5487, the Private Security Agency Law, indicating the names of its key agency officers.
Company profile of Eagle Matrix and the organizational structure submitted.
Security management expertise and experience of key agency officers and personnel, including possible chief of operations for CAAP.
Security management expertise and experience submitted.
Latest monthly disposition report, MDR, stamp received by PNP SOCIA for 3 consecutive months prior to the submission and opening of bids.
MDR for the month of September 2021, stamped received by PNP SOCIA, October 13, 2021. MDR for the month of October 2021, stamped received by PNP SOCIA, November 15, 2021, and MDR for the month of November 2021, stamped received by PNP SOCIA, December 10, 2021, submitted.
Certificate of availability of the required firearms and ammunitions. And for firearms not yet available or under purchase agreement, notarized letter of commitment from supplier to supply the firearm if awarded the contract.
Certificate of availability of the required firearms and ammunition signed by Attorney Claustro using form number 9, submitted.
Certificate of availability of the required communication equipment, and for communication equipment not yet available or under purchase agreement, notarized letter of commitment from supplier to supply the communication equipment if awarded the contract.
Certificate of availability of the required communication equipment using form number 10, bidding forms signed by Attorney Claustro, submitted.
Certificate of availability of the required transportation vehicle to be supplied by the private security agency.
Certificate of availability of the required transportation using form 11 of bid forms signed by Attorney Claustro, submitted.
Certificate of availability of the required other supplies, equipment, and paraphernalia to be supplied by the private security agency.
Certificate of availability of required other supplies and equipment or paraphernalia using form 12 signed by Attorney Claustro, submitted.
Clearance certificate valid as of the date of submission and opening of bids, where the principal place of business of the prospective bidder is located, and agency documents indicating the latest payments of the following: Social Security System,
SSS Certificate of Remittance, submitted.
Home Development and Mutual Fund or Pag-ibig,
Pag-ibig certificate, clearance certificate, submitted.
PhilHealth,
Certification from the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation issued last December 20, this December 20, 2021, submitted.
BIR, Bureau of Internal Revenue,
BIR tax clearance certificate valid until July 26, 2022, submitted.
certification of pending or no pending labor standards violation cases, valid as of the date of submission and opening of bids, issued by the following agency pertaining to the provision
Documents for pag-ibig po.
PhilHealth.
Over there is May. It is mas on the bid document.
We take note of your manifestation, ma'am. Again, these will be the submissions. All the submissions will be reviewed. We are just checking the absence and presence during the opening of bids, but all the information in the submitted documents will be reviewed during post-qualification. Thank you, ma'am.
certification of pending or no pending labor standards violation cases, valid as of date of submission and opening of bids, issued by the following agencies pertaining to the provision of the security services: Department of Labor and Employment,
DOLE certification issued to issued last 25th of October 2021. Submitted.
National Labor Relations Commission, NLRC,
NLRC certification of no pending case. Submitted.
DOLE Certificate of Compliance on Occupational Safety and Health Standards, and Certificates of Compliance on General Labor Standards.
Not applicable. We have bid bulletin number 2 for that.
Notarized Affidavit of Undertaking.
Affidavit of Undertaking signed by Attorney Claustro and notarized. Submitted.
Security Survey Report to be accomplished and tab per airport facility.
Security survey report for CAAP main office, for Civil Aviation Training Center, for Manila Control Tower, Manila Radar Station, Manila Transmitter Station, the CAAP Hangar, Rosario NDB, Tagaytay RCAG en route radar, and lastly from Security Survey Report for Manila Radar Station 2. Submitted.
Photocopy of the official receipt as proof of purchase of the bidding documents issued by CAAP.
Photocopy of the official receipt issued by CAAP. Submitted.
Bid bulletin, if any.
Bid bulletin number 1 dated December 3, 2021. And bid bulletin number 2 dated December 13, 2021. Submitted.
That's all for the technical component.
Mr. Chair, the technical documents submissions, technical component submission of Eagle Matrix Security Agency is initially rated as passed. Sir, permission to proceed with the opening of the financial component of the Advanced Remote Managed Security Agency.
I'll go ahead, Attorney Frank.
The submitted financial component has tabbings, pagination, and signature on each page. Checklist, please.
Bid form,
Ay, last na yun. Last na lang.
yeah. Financial proposal submission sheet,
Financial proposal submission sheet, signed, submitted.
bill of quantities,
Bill of quantities, submitted.
bid form, and financial bid.
Financial bid in the amount of 38,861,073 pesos and 24 centavos. Again, it's 38,861,073 pesos and 24 centavos with no discount and within the ABC. So, Chair, proceeding with the financial component of Eagle Matrix Security Agency. Permission to open, sir.
Yeah, go ahead for the opening.
The submitted financial proposal has tabbings, pagination, and signature on each page. Checklist, please.
Financial proposal,
Financial proposal duly signed using Form 15, submitted.
bill of quantities,
Bill of quantities using Form 16, submitted.
and financial bid.
The financial bid in the amount of 40,724,298 pesos and 12 centavos. Again, it's 40,724,298 pesos and 12 centavos with no discount and within the ABC. Mr. Chair, with that, considering the two submitted proposals are within the ABC and passed initially during the opening of bids, the technical working group hereby recommends that these proposals, Eagle Matrix and ARMS, to be subjected to bid evaluation to ascertain completeness of bids and determine whether there are arithmetical or mathematical computations or error for consideration and approval of the committee, sir.
Thank you, Attorney Frank. Since both bidders initially passed the bidding documents evaluations and both of them also within the ABC, may we know if there are any comments or from the members of the BAC?
Mr. Chair, may I move for the approval of the recommendation of the technical working group and for technical working group to proceed with the evaluation of the bid.
Any second for that?
A second.
Before I proceed, Attorney Klaus, you have you raised
Yes.
your hands.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. We just want to request for a copy of the abstract of bids and the minutes of the bid opening. Thank
Yes,
you, Mr.
noted on
Chair.
the manifestation that you raised.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Since it has been recommended for the approval of the technical working group to continue for the bid evaluations or for the post-qual evaluations to determine the correctness of all the documents submitted, to include the arithmetical computations. Then the technical working group has to proceed with the process of the post-qualifications evaluations.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Uh, Thank you, bidders. You are now excused.
Thank you,
Salamat.
bidders.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Salamat
Attorney
po.
Klaus.
Thank you,
Attorney
Mr. Chair.
Claudio, thank you po. Ma'am May Rose, salamat po.
Thank you, sir.
Maraming salamat sa lahat. Thank you to all members of the BAC who are present, physically present.
Sir, we still have one last item, sir, which is
Oh,
the
okay.
present.
Yeah.
This is just quick, sir. This is a presentation of the post-qualification report, sir.
I see. Okay, continue on that.
Sir, we're just connecting, sir. 1 minute. Mr. Chair,
Yes, Attorney Frank.
the technical working group is now ready to present the post-qualification evaluation report. for the project provision of security services requirements for Bicol International Airport, covering the period of 6 months through negotiated procurement emergency case. The project has an approved budget for the contract amounting to 18,240,201 pesos and 12 centavos, and the negotiation was done last November 26, 2021, and only the bidder, Advanced Remote Managed Security Services Incorporated, submitted a proposal in the amount of 17,904,550 pesos and 21 centavos. So here are the results of our evaluation. For the certificate of registration, they submitted a copy of the registration certificate issued by the Securities and Exchange Commission, and this is responsive. For the mayor's permit, the submission of the bidder is from the LGU of Taguig City, and the business permit is valid until December 31, 2021, so it is responsive. For the tax clearance, it is also valid during the opening of bids. They issue a tax clearance which is valid until August 19, 2022, so it is responsive. Considering that this is a negotiated procurement, the statement of, for the statement of all ongoing government private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, they submitted in accordance with our forms, and it is also in accordance with our forms, and it is also responsive. For the statement of all governments completed government and private contracts, the submission is also in conformity with our forms, and it is also responsive. For the audited financial statement, they submitted an audited financial statement for the fiscal year 2019-2020, and it is stamped received by the BIR last April 27, 2021, so it is responsive. For the NFCC computation, the submitted NFCC in the amount of 169,048,331 pesos and 15 centavos, and this is more than the ABC of the project, so it is responsive. For the joint venture, this is not applicable, considering that this is a sole submission. For the technical documents, conformity with the legal specification, the submission is in compliance with the technical specification, so it is responsive. The Omnibus sworn statement, they submitted a duly notarized sworn statement, and it is dated November 24, 2021, so it is responsive. And for the financial documents, financial proposal, the offered bid is 17,904,550 pesos and 21 centavos, and after bid evaluation, no arithmetical or mathematical error was found. So the calculated bid is also the same as the offered bid, and this amount is within the ABC of the project, so it is responsive. For the detailed bill of materials and quantities, the submission is in accordance with our forms, and no irregularities were found, so it is responsive. For the post-qualification documents, which they submitted within the prescribed period of 5 days from receipt of such documents, and the technical working group also visited the office of ARMS and inspected all the submissions. So for the latest income tax, they submitted for the tax period, annual tax period, December 2020. So it is responsive. For other appropriate licenses, they resubmitted the latest copy of the sex certificate, mayor's permit, tax clearance, and PhilJEP certificate of registration. All these are valid and regular upon inspection, so it is responsive. So Having complied all the legal, technical, and the financial requirements for the project, the Technical Working Group hereby recommends that the proposal of Advanced Remote Managed Security Services Incorporated be considered as a single calculated and responsive bid for the project provision of security services requirement for the Bicol International Airport covering the period 6 months through negotiated procurement under emergency case. It is also recommended that the contract be awarded to RMC in the amount of 17,904,550 pesos and 21 centavos for approval and for consideration and approval of the committee. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Attorney Frank. Well, after that thorough bid evaluations that the technical working group had conducted, and all the remarks are responsive based on the bidding documents requirements. And with regards to your recommendations for all the members, first, do you have any remarks or any motions for this?
Through the chair,
Yes.
I move to recommend for award to Advanced Remote Managed Security Service, Inc. as evaluated and recommended by the TWG being the single calculated and responsive bid for Bicol International Airport Security Service.
And a second for this one.
I second.
Seconded, Mr. Chair. Seconded, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Since it has been recommended and duly seconded for the
Award, sir.
for the awards of the proposals with regards to
Bicol, sir.
hindi ko mabasa rito. It has been proposed to be awarded for Advanced Remote Managed Security Services for the single calculated or negotiated with regards to the provisions of security services requirements for Bicol International Airport covering period of 6 months through negotiated procurement or emergency cases in the amount of 17,940,000 and 550 pesos, and all the documents should be prepared by the technical working group for proper submissions to the board.
Mr. Chair, considering, sir, that the amount is not more than the 50 million, the head of the procuring entity for this case, sir, will be only the Director General, sir. So we will directly have the DG, sir, sign the notice of award, sir. We will no longer present this to the board.
Okay, if that's the case, then prepare all the necessary documents for the signatures of the deputy of the Director General.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you also. Anything else for us to discuss this afternoon?
For now, Mr. Chair, nothing from the technical working group.
None for the Secretariat po.
Nothing from the end user, Mr. Chair.
Then,
Attorney Frank, meron na bang
yes,
legal clearance?
Attorney Dan.
Just asking, sir, if may legal clearance na ba? Emergency procurement.
Attorney Dan, sorry, we cannot hear you clearly.
Then just asking if may legal clearance na yung emergency procurement.
Okay, we'll check on that. If there's a legal clearance with regards to this emergency procurement.
Thank you very much,
We
Mr.
will
Chair.
check on that, Attorney Dan. Nothing else? Then, thank you very much for all the attendees to this bidding process meeting. Any motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I move for the adjournment of the BAC security meeting.
Seconded, Mr. Chair.
Seconded. Okay. The back meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much to everyone.
Thank you,
Maraming
sir.
salamat po sa lahat.
Thank you po. Thank you. Thank you.